I spent 8 weeks working full-time on this racer spaceship model, which I built using a bunch of trash combined with some precise 3D printed parts. It all received a ton of detailing in my first racing paint job, and the result is one of my most good-looking models that even features a tiny little pilot figure. Welcome to Cut, Transform, Glue. Here in my shop, I keep the big shapes and pieces in plastic boxes, so when I'm about to start a new project, I go to these organizers looking for ideas and inspiration and letting the shapes suggest me where to go. Once I find something that feels interesting to me, I grab my glue gun and I start trying to combine these shapes together to have an overall idea of the size and geometry of the model. In this particular case, I knew going in that this was going to be a spaceship, and this is when I decided on the Y shape. With this basic shape defined on this first hot glue test, it's time to take everything apart and start putting the shapes together, trying to be as precise and aligned as possible so I don't end with a crooked model. I decided to begin with the body of the spaceship, and I'm already using some 3D printed parts to match the shapes of the trash pieces. For instance, right here I had this weird angle going on the water bottle, and I had to attach it not only parallel to the lines of the body, but also I needed to be able to separate the shapes for the painting process. So with my 3D printer, I made an attachment piece for the water bottle, and using it, I figured out the angle it had. Then I made the matching piece for the body, and very quick and precisely, I had the front of the spaceship, the fuel tanks, nice and secured in place. Then I decided to tackle the main engine, which were a couple of dome-shaped plastic pieces which I also attached to the back of the body using a bolt. Next came this plastic ball, which later would be the pilot's cockpit, and then I wanted to be attached to the side of the body just to break the symmetry of the spaceship. I again went with 3D printed parts that precisely matched the curves and shapes of the greeblies and a bolt system to attach it to the spaceship. Looking back, a simple Lego piece would work for the cockpit, but the bolt system I used on the whole ship worked very well, and pretty quickly I had the basic structure of the build figured out. If this is a racer spaceship, this is going to endure a lot of twisting and turning, so it made sense in my mind that it needed some sort of structural reinforcements, connecting the body to the fuel tanks, where most of the weight would be. So I grabbed some of my most good-looking tube pieces in my collection and put together some sci-fi tube structures. But of course I also needed some cool looking shapes where the tubes would be connected to, so I grabbed some different types of greeblies, like buttons from a dead music player, laser cut acrylic shapes, and resin printed parts, as well as some filament ones, and put everything together using some CA glue. The result were a couple of weird looking pieces that would be sitting on the middle of the spaceship on the big black structure on the body, and I of course made some matching shapes that were attached on the outside of the fuel tanks. Well, that covered the two outside tubes. What about the middle one? I measured the fuel tanks and made some rings to go over them, and that gave me the opportunity to make a structure that will connect the fuel tanks together. Then a bigger structural tube could go right in the middle and connect everything together, and now the ship is reinforced, ready to receive its first coat of primer, which is always a magical moment. It was then time to work on the engine array. It is composed of 5 small thrusters on a star shape, and each of them is the bottom of a PS4 analog stick with a couple of things added to it, a 3D printed extension piece and a tiny greebly on the middle. There's also a bigger thruster that snaps right in the middle of the star, also a combination of greeblies and 3D parts, and the whole array of thrusters is screwed on the inside of the engine cover. With the array done, I went on a long journey of detailing the outside of the engine cover. This is a spaceship, so I think there should be a ton of tubes going in and out so the engine works, not to mention it looks super cool. For this detailing, I went with different materials like solder wire and aluminum, and it of course received a good coat of primer. The engine array was finally finished. Now, the big set of engines on the back will propel the spaceship forward in blazing speed, but how does it change its direction? There's no air in space, meaning wings wouldn't work, so here comes the side thrusters. The pieces I chose for the body of the spaceship were perfect, because I already had some great angles where I could attach these, making my life much easier. So I added a combination of resin printed pieces that I print in bulk for multiple projects, and a filament one that I made specifically for that spot right there in the middle. And it only made sense to also add some side thrusters on the front of the spaceship. Call me crazy, but I feel like this could operate in opposite directions from the ones on the back and kinda spin the spaceship. These are the types of insanities going through my mind during the build. These also are some filament printed pieces with some cool greeblies glued on top. The detailing phase is one of my favorite parts of any build. This is when I'll go for the tiniest, most delicate and detailed greeblies I have in my collection, adding them mostly to the surface of the model, trying to expand on the narrative and reinforce the sense of scale of the project. I'll use thin 1mm or even less sometimes styrene and acrylic discs, some metal details that I can only get from the inside of some dead electronics, as well as some 3D printed pieces so detailed that I can only produce on a resin printer that is properly set up. This phase tends to be longer than what I would expect, considering progress is literally super small, especially when you compare it to the initial days of the build, but it is always worth it. Okay, but what about that little guy right there, the pilot? So let me show you how I made the pilot and the cockpit. I began by looking in my collection of greeblies, trying to find something to create this seat first, and found some very promising pieces. I knew exactly how I was going to combine them as they looked perfect for each other, so I just had to make them a few changes and remove some features and reinforce the bottom with some styrene. Pretty quickly it kinda already looks like a seat, although a very uncomfortable one, so I began adding some pads that were actually some dead laptop keycaps. Some fitted perfectly on the gaps, but some required some changes that I made using a Dremel tool. Once I felt I had a decent amount of pads and details, and of course keeping in mind that the pilot would cover most of it, I applied a coat of primer, and to be able to keep it separated from the cockpit, I went with the fake mini Lego pieces. Very useful stuff. And of course the inside of the cockpit also received a ton of detailing and some primer. I began the pilot by making a skeleton where on top I could later add some epoxy putty. So I grabbed some pieces of wood, some wire and some pieces of acrylic. I cut everything to the size and shape I needed and used the wire to make the joints. I ended up with this simple human posable skeleton right here. Now, epoxy putty is not the best material out there, neither is the easiest to work with, but I can find it around here for cheap and it allows me for some sculpting and sanding, and this is what I did. It takes a while to cure, like a couple of hours, so every time you have to add volumes, you need to wait a little, which is kind of a problem. On some spots I went with different materials like the plastic for the helmet, solder wire, and even a tiny little button for the seat belt. Making such a small figure is super challenging. I managed to escape from the face by adding a helmet, but for the hands, for instance, I had to face the challenge. I'm not the best when it comes to the human figures. As you can see, I really prefer the hard surfaces, but I gotta say, although not perfect at all, I really liked the result. I applied the final coat of gray primer, went with the chipping layer, and for the first time I decided to throw a white spray coat to help me with the cheap acrylics I use. I decided for this simple good looking color scheme, mixed my paints and went straight for the masking. My idea was to make the top half of the spaceship on the pinkish red and the purple on the bottom, divided by a light pink stripe on the middle. Finding this color combination was not easy and I wasn't sold on it still, but I decided to move forward regardless. Next, I tried to create some subtle differences on the base colors, mixing some different shades that I applied with a brush on some panel lines that I made with an X-Acto knife. And although I wasn't trying to make perfect details, this was still a very time-consuming process. And after a while, this right here was the result, a nice subtle difference that I feel adds a spaceship look to the model, which I really liked. But if this is a racer spaceship, it of course needs a number, and I decided to go with the number 11. Why, you ask? Because this is the 11th model I finished here on this channel. Of course not counting the props and replicas, but yeah, this is my 11th creation, like from start to finish. As you can see, the masking was not perfect. I still got some leak spots, even though I tried my best to avoid it using some techniques. But that was totally fine, because after that it received a dark purple outline. And from that I went for an acrylic wash all across the model, as always making it dirty and then cleaning up as best as I can, repeating the process if necessary. It then received the logos from my beloved patrons, to which I thank for joining me in this journey of making sci-fi models using trash, technology and creativity. You, my friends, make all of this possible. I applied the final coat of matte varnish and this season reaches its end. Thank you so much if you watched this far in the video, and as always, thanks for watching.